What a success Season 1 was as Road to Indy headed to the virtual world, and now we're here to repeat right near St. Louis, Missouri. But on the other side of the Mississippi River is Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, and it presents the first round of the Tire Rack Road to Indy iRacing eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. The 1.25 mile oval welcomes you and ourselves, Jonathan Simon, and the voice of Road to Indy, Rob Howden, to the commentary booth. Rob, back to the virtual world. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. I'm excited about this new program. Of course, 5 road courses on the first series that we ran. This next 5, though, it's going to be interesting. 3 ovals will be here, obviously, at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We'll also run Lucas Oil Raceway on May the 20th and Iowa Speedway to cap it off on June the 3rd. Watkins Glen and Laguna Seca in there as well, Jonathan. This is going to be fun for these drivers. A new discipline. We're going oval racing.
And now let's introduce Chaplain Jason Holt, who will join us for today's invocation.
Let's pray. God, thank you so much for the opportunity to gather and to enjoy some racing right in the midst of the craziness of life right now. God, we can't thank you enough for the sponsors, the drivers, and all that have worked hard to put on today's event. And we just pray that it would go smoothly, that we can enjoy some racing and have some fun together. And God, in this moment, we just lift up our leadership, that as they look at bringing our lives back to somewhat normal, Lord, that you would guide and lead their plans, that, Father, you would be with all the series officials, God, as they start to put plans together to bring us as a racing community back together at the racetrack, that you would guide and lead them as well. And lastly, God, we just thank you so much for the love and forgiveness through the name above all names, the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now, our national anthem. Performing from Dallas, Texas, Russ Ruddock.
Can I?
Use our tire decision guide to pick the right tires for you? Yes.
Well, back again here at Gateway, and there is your grid for the first race of the second season for the Tire Rack Road to Indy E-Series presented by Cooper Tires. Andre Castro, the Legacy Autosport driver, I've been talking to him during the week, and I like his chances. He seems very well prepared. But Rob, we've got Pabst Racing's Yuvan Sundaramurthy starting from second. We'll be chatting to some of the Pabst boys, hopefully, during the race. And how about our series champion starting from third?
Yeah, Philippe Dennis coming off that title of the first series. He'll start on the inside of road 2. Young 16-year-old Max Kaiser for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports starting on road number 2. On the outside, Cameron Shields, your fellow Aussie, starting 5th. And Braden Eves, a driver I think we need to keep a watch on. USF 2000 champion from last year, starting in 6th.
So we've got a couple more names down the order. The final winner of the last race last year was Braden Eves Exclusive Autosport. But let's head to today's command.
Drivers, start your engine.
So there you go, Rob. The Pro Mazda screaming around virtually. Yes, they started as they were already on the pace lap. It's going to be a quick one here around Gateway. Some of the drivers talking how this is an egg-shaped oval, and turns 1 and 2 won't be too flat out, but turns 3 and 4 should be easy with the draft.
Well, the interesting thing about this racetrack is that turn 1 and 2, it's a lot tighter. Turn 3 and 4 a lot wider. More banking though in turn number 1 and 2. Here they come, folks. I believe we're getting ready to get underway. Right at it, the first of 2 20-minute races. Green, green, green. Underway here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. They'll storm into turn number 1. Castro in the 77 leading on the top side. 11-degree banking, Jonathan, through 1 and 2.
We may have seen an engine blow in the background, so that could cause an early yellow here. But it is Castro leading the field, heading into 3. But have a look at this. Phil Dennis for the lead.
Aggressive racing early on. A little bit of a surprise to me that these drivers throwing it down. But again, just a 20-minute race here. A couple of sprints. Interesting thing we will see, the finish of race number 1 will invert the top 10. And that's where they'll start race number 2. So whoever wins is going to be starting back on the outside of row 5. We go racing with our second event this afternoon. Big driver to the top of the racetrack, someone potentially in the wall on the high side, able to bring it back down, but Philippe Dennis goes to P1 top side, and it's Castro on the bottom of the racetrack, 2x2 for the first 3 rows.
Strategy not a problem today, so when he lifts any fuel saving will only carry a heavier fuel load in this Pro Mazda on the iRacing service. Have a look at this as Castro still leads. Braden Eves to 3rd and searching for 2nd.
Braden Eves making a move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Don't
Interesting
forget,
for
viewers
Eves.
want to
He
see
will
car
race here later on this year
on
in the
that
Indy Pro
tower.
2000 category, Jonathan. USF 2000 drivers did not run here at Gateway last year, just Indy Pro and Indy Light. So these drivers really don't have any real life experience here. Neither does Castro, neither does Philippe Dennis, neither does Mike Myers, neither does Max Kaiser. Drivers up front have never been here in the real world. But looking pretty good here early on. And I like the opening laps laid down here by Andre Castro, driver trying to run for Legacy Autosports this year. He's keeping the car to the high side, a little easier on the tires. We've seen a lot of this. You can run that high side, better grip coming out of the corner. Down to the bottom of Braden Eves, working those Cooper tires a little more, trying to keep the car bottom right down to the yellow line, getting through both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
And the track will evolve throughout the race too, so different lines are going to matter here. Some drivers trying to see if the bottom is working earlier in the race, which it should here at Gateway, but the top seems to work well. We've got a huge wreck down the back of the pack coming out of 4.
Potentially our first incident on the racetrack. Will we go yellow? We'll see the incident happening here. Flynn Lazier, I believe, on the top side of the racetrack. That's the 55 of Santia Ruti in the bottom. Oh, one driver just getting a little loose. That might have been Nate Miranda. Not quite sure who that driver was. If we can get another look at that, we'll grab a number. But yeah, driver just getting a little loose coming out of the corner, nowhere to go. There's another spin there. The 027 going around here. Or were you thinking the 027 potentially?
Wow, yeah, exactly. So the interesting part here is the drivers were talking to me during the week about how the liftoff oversteer is pretty much killing them as they come through some of the corners. They're struggling to manage it. Those at the front, though, seem okay, and it's no question that 3 of your top drivers are holding those 3 spots for the moment. Mike Myers doing well in the 5th position. There's a driver I see down the order, though, Will, is Rob. His name is Ryan Norman. And he has been a previous winner here back in Indy Lights in 2018.
Yeah, that was an absolutely magnificent day for Ryan Norman. That was his first win in the Road to Indy. He went side by side with his Andretti Autosport teammate Colton Herta for probably 15 laps, pinching down the bottom. They were holding each other up. It was unbelievably fun to watch, and it was a big, big win for Ryan Norman. He would come back and get another victory on the road course a little later on last year, but interesting to see him out here with us again. He'll be running sports cars this year, but has jumped back in to run with us here at the Road to Indy. But as you said, further down the order than I think we would have expected. Ryan Norman currently in the 22nd position, very likely got caught up in the incident. But this battle up front is stellar right now. 4-driver breakaway. Castro, Eves, Dennis, and young 16-year-old Max Kaiser. Had a chance to talk to him on my Instagram live Q&A. Just a great young man, and I like to see what he's doing right now. Came up through Formula Fords, actually ran an old Swift SC92 machine in the Formula Ford category at SCCA. Looking pretty good here right now. He's been doing a lot of testing and a lot of practice on the iRacing platform, trying to run with some of the big guns here on the Road to Indy.
He's looking good today, isn't he? Fastest lap of the race for Mike Myers there. A low 31-second lap time here around Gateway. IndyCar ran 23-second lap times here. The lap record held by Will Power. 23.7 seconds around Gateway as they visited here back in 2017 in an illustrious night race, Rob. It's looking like sunset conditions out there at the moment here virtually.
You know, when we got back to this particular racetrack a couple of years ago, the fans came out in droves. Shout out to, of course, everyone at Worldwide Technology Raceway that makes it all happen. Of course, the whole team ownership as well. The track ownership, Chris Blair, John Deshi, everybody involved in the program. It's a tremendous group of people, and of course, one of the big people you have to bring in is the fact that they work closely with the Bomarito Automotive Group, which is the area's largest car dealership. And John Bomarito himself comes to a bunch of races, actually supports a couple of the younger drivers as well. He's on board with Oliver Askew now to a certain extent, but they put so much into this event. You see, virtually here, the grandstands are packed. That's what it's like when we're actually here for the IndyCar program as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no social distancing involved in those grandstands, unfortunately. But here we go, battle for the lead continues. They're going to be 3 wide going into turn 3.
Someone's got to give it up, and that's a good, I think that was potentially McGuinness who let it go to the top part of the racetrack. You cannot fight it. Look at this over-under. Wow, this racing's is a bit further back. No, is that the lead group actually doing what it is indeed the lead group, and they are throwing it down. There's probably 8 drivers in that lead group, 2, almost 3 wide through 1 and 2.
Part of the tactics some of the drivers said were that they were going to sit down the back of the pack and avoid the wrecks, but they would have lost this lead group who are looking hungry here and are making 3 wide work. This is like Pocono on steroids.
This is what we love about this particular racetrack, no doubt about it. The side-by-side action, we saw a lot of that last year. In fact, Kyle Kirkwood was the driver who put on the show last year, started at the tail of the field and absolutely stormed his way forward. But Corey Enders had a very good run here as well for D-Force Racing. Look at this. Look at this here. 3 wide. Jonathan, we are still 3 wide all the way through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Max Kaiser to the bottom.
I didn't expect this coming out of practice. I knew they were going to run 2 by 2, but not 3 wide. Will we see 3 by 3 potentially as we ride on board with the exclusive Autosport driver of Braden Eves? He walked away with a final race win last season and is hoping to go 2 in a row here to begin season 2 of the Tire Rack Road to Indy eSeries. Now, the pole sitter Andre Castro, you won that Symmetric Driver Performance Labs pole award. You can visit symmetriclabs.com for more information on driver coaching. And we've seen a wreck down at the back, and don't tell me Yuvan Sundaramurthy's been involved.
Still have the drivers running 3 by 3. This is the replay. That's the incident there, a little bit of contact. Let's see if we can get that shot again to give you a look at that in the replay for Yuvan Sundaramurthy. That was a tough one for the Pabst Racing driver. I was just, Jonathan, I was just waiting for some contact there. They were 3 wide all the way through 1 and 2 with young Max Kaiser down the bottom. He's slotting back into the 5th position now. They weren't going 3 wide further back because I think the guys behind them were watching, kind of holding their breath, wondering what was going to happen. Here's that replay again, going down into turn number 1. Let's see if we can see what happens. On board here, I believe, with Castro. That may not give us the best look here right now. That's Eves at the top of the track.
Oh, goodness me. That's not going to work, is it?
I didn't see that particular part on my replay. My apologies, but back at it here again. I'm liking this battle up front, though, but look what they have up front. A couple of slower cars. Oh, there's more contact.
That's Castro, our pole sitter. He's going to be out of the race, and he's tumbling and turning just like he was in Indianapolis last season. And that is his chances dashed of a potential race victory. And it looked like, couldn't quite tell who was right behind him, but may have taken the air from the rear end of Castro there.
Jonathan, I think that was right behind him would have been Philippe Dennis. They came into the corner, and it didn't seem to me like there was any contact, as you had said. It looked more like he may have just got into, I don't know if he got right into the back. It looked to me more like Castro just might have lost the rear end a bit. We'll have a good look at it here. Here's the replay on board now with Dennis.
Yep.
Oh, that looks like potentially some contact. Would you agree?
Yeah, very, very close. And we know that virtual racing, you need to leave a buffer. And it looks like potentially, do we have a pace car being called at the moment? So yes, caution out. And we thought that they were being lenient on the cautions, but I guess the total for Castro there has caused this. And we're not going to see pit stops or anything like that, but we're going to see the field now settle down. We're not, we're going to remind the viewers, Rob, this is a 20-minute race, and you just don't have time to settle into the race, do you? And get a feel for the conditions. You just got to go straight into it and race like it's the final laps.
It's a complete sprint race. I'm taking a deep breath right now and pressing the reset button because obviously we came quickly into the show and jumped right into the action after qualifying and didn't have a lot of time to kind of set things up. Yeah, that was hectic. It was frantic early on. Drivers really pushing hard. You could see how wild it got. We ended up having the drivers 3 wide in the front straightaway, and then all the way through turns 1 and 2. And I think they almost were 3 wide through 3 and 4 as well. But it was Max Kaiser from Miller Vinatieri Motorsports who was on the bottom, making it 3 wide. I'll give them props. I was almost certain we were going to have some kind of contact, but with Braden Eves on the very top side of the racetrack, I think he was being smart, gave everybody just a little bit of extra room. So good job for Eves, but good job for everybody up front until we had a couple of incidents. One, of course, involving Yuvan Sundaramurthy. He's fallen down to the 21st spot. And as well, we had that incident for Andre Castro, who had qualified on pole and led early.
So this is the Symmetric Driver Performance Labs pace car. We also have a fastest lap of the race award that will be brought to you by TSOladder.com, and we'll announce that at the end of the event. Cooper Tires back on board for the season, Rob, and they're so durable, we won't need virtual pit stops.
No, we had the pit stops in error at the very first round of the first series at Barber Motorsports Park. We all kind of thought it was interesting. It was a nice wrinkle in the race strategy, so we kept it going through the entire season. Of course, we won't do that here on the oval events, and as you said, the Cooper tires, as they do in the real world, last so long, give such consistency, and that's why we're not seeing any pit stops here at all. Drivers will take care of them for sure, because Gateway, although it was repaved just a couple of years ago, that was after they laser scanned this particular racetrack, so it's a little bit rougher, a little bit more bumpy than it is these days. But again, drivers taking care of their tires. This yellow flag here will cool things down, and they'll be able to go back to work.
And we've got a chance to speak to a Pabst Racing driver. Hunter McElroy, we got you, mate.
Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. We just want to check how the race is going. It looks, I tell you what, chaotic there in the front pack. Castro's wreck was very dramatic.
I mean, I haven't really been close enough to see it yet. It's been okay, but Colin actually got into me at the start, dropped me to P28. I'm not sure, is my front wing okay, actually?
Do you want us to check that for you?
Yeah, can you check my front wing? I don't know.
It looks good.
Oh, cool, sweet. So yeah, we're still in the race now. I'm on the top 10, lead lap. Yeah, could be worse. I mean, I didn't think I'd be like this position after lap 1, but here we are. So hopefully we can stay here.
We'll send you
actually not stay here. I want to get to the front.
Exactly. You don't want to stay there. We'll send you the invoice for the spotting guide there to help you out with that. What are your thoughts here right now? Top side, bottom side? What do you feel like where your car's the fastest right now?
Probably surviving all the weapons on here that have no fear, mate, to be honest, like far out. Some of the maneuvers I've seen is, luckily we don't have real life invoices on this because, honestly, yes. I mean, I've just passed a few, but I've just kept my nose clean and, yeah, got to the top 10 from dead last, literally. So, gonna keep clean and see how we go.
All right. Good luck here, Hunter. We'll leave you to it, mate. We'll let you join your Pabst Racing teammates. We're about to go green this time round. What a good young man is Hunter McElroy, Rob.
Yeah, I like the fact he was very, very honest. A little chaotic out there. We said it was chaotic. He says there's some maniacs out there as well. Braden Eves will keep it on the top side. You're not allowed to pass on the bottom side, the left side of the racetrack. So he's up top high, down to the bottom. That's not going to work for the driver just to get the jump there. You're not allowed to pass the bottom, are you, Johnny?
I don't think so. Colin Kaminsky's gone to the bottom, and race control's going to have a look at that for sure. But down to the lead is Kaminsky, and Eves has to sacrifice as he heads to the bottom.
I guarantee you that Eves would be on the radio talking about that. That's why he was at the top side of the racetrack. Rules on iRacing is you're not allowed to make that pass to the bottom of the track. Everybody's got to stay behind the driver up top. Eves immediately going to the bottom, coming through 3 and 4, though. He'll get that spot. Book it. He's through. Back to the top side. Lets it drift high. Actually more mid-track, so I think a pretty good run coming out for Colin Kaminsky. He'll be second right now, but again, we'll see whether or not a drive-through penalty could potentially come out. Max Kaiser still in there. Oh, there's contact. Driver sideways. Coming out turn 2. Contact, flipping. Driver up the fence. Major contact for one of our drivers coming through turn 1 and 2. I saw the driver go sideways. Let's have a look at the contact and where it does happen here, Jonathan.
Goodness me, that doesn't bring home any good memories at all. I know it's virtual, but an accident like that is absolutely chaotic. The drivers are running upwards of around about 140 miles an hour here in the draft, and so it can create some chaotic speeds in this Pro Mazda on iRacing. The new version of this vehicle, though, coming soon to the iRacing service, Rob. Hopefully we get to race it in future rounds of the Road to Indy eSeries.
A couple of updates right now. Colin Kaminsky pulling down to the backside of the racetrack, so he'll head to pit lane. So indeed, It will be a drive-through penalty, we believe, for Colin Kaminsky for the jump start. The driver I think that we had the incident on in turn number 2 just looked like he lost at mid-corner. That was Santi Urrutia, the driver from Uruguay, who will run this year with HMD Motorsports in the Indy Lights program. A couple of years finishing either in second and third, I believe, in the championships in his time in Indy Lights. Multi-time race winner, very talented driver. Wasn't able to get into our first series, Jonathan, of eSeries Racing here with the Road to Indy, but able to sign up for the Tire Rack sponsored program, our second season, but did not quite go the way Santi Urrutia wanted. He's back down in 19th position.
Yep, as you said, won this race back in 2017. Previous champion in the Road to Indy series back in 2015. He won the Indy Pro 2000 championship. I swear I heard a wreck in the background, and that is Phil Dennis, our champion from last season. His day could be done, and he's going to have to trundle that car home to the pit lane. Let's have a look what happened, and just caught the end of that, Rob. Didn't quite catch what happened to him there.
Let's see if he can jump on board potentially with a replay here if he had to catch it. It looked to me like the car just kind of broke loose on him, indeed. Looks like a little bit of an overcorrection. Very surprising out of Philippe Dennis. You wonder if it was kind of a net code thing or something, because that's not an issue, a mistake that we saw out of him. He, in fact, made 0 mistakes as we headed throughout the entire first season. So ends up winning the championship. Trouble here. Man, this kind of blows things wide open, does it not? As they're working their way through some lap traffic now. It's Ryan Norman to the top of the racetrack. Max Kaiser still trying to follow the number 1 of Braden Eves through. Man, action continuing here. Just 4 minutes remaining in our first 20-minute sprint.
And what a story this is, Rob. Daniel Frost to the 3rd position, looking for 2nd. He's going to form up single file heading to 1 and 2. But the Singaporean driver for Andretti Autosports had a good run lately.
Man, all the way down onto the rumbles coming out of turn number 2. You can't do that in the Indy cars here at all. The car will definitely skate out on you. He'll make a move to the bottom of the racetrack. Here he comes, the Andretti Autosport driver trying to get to the inside of Max Kaiser. But Kaiser with a better run. You can see that Frost had to chase the car up the racetrack a little bit. That early entry gave him a little bit of a mid-corner push. Had to get back at it. Here's a battle for the lead right now, Jonathan. Here comes Kaiser to the bottom on Eves.
Got to be careful running 2 by 2 this late in the race. How are the conditions in this car? We've seen even our series champion, who's driven so perfectly over the past 5 weeks, suffer from some dramatic oversteer. Daniel Frost started this race from the 13th row of the grid, and he's already up in the 3rd, and we're 2 by 2 again heading into 1. And how about this? Max Kaiser to the bottom.
Max Kaiser, the young driver from Colorado, only 16 years of age, trying to battle it out right now here with the reigning USF 2000 champion. Look who else is in the fight here. Multi-time Road to Indy race winner Daniel Frost. Young driver Reese Gold, 10th last year in USF 2000. F1600 driver Mike Myers now up into the 5th spot. Josh Green will be a rookie this year in USF 2000, as will Matias Ramirez for D-Force in 7th. Kaminsky runs 8th, Loomis 9th, and Cameron Shields holding on to the top 10. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in our first race.
Oh, I thought that was 3 wide down for the 3rd position there. That's Reese Gold back up the order. Reese Gold's now in a 3rd in this race. Rob, how in the world has Reese Gold always figured it out during race trim? As we see the battle for the lead continue here, or at least for 2nd position, Max Kaiser struggling to keep within the draft of Braden Eves. You know, if Braden Eves breaks the draft, it's game over for everybody else behind.
You got to wonder what's going through the mind of Max Kaiser right now. Again, a kid that just kind of came through the Lucas Oil School of Racing. He did SCCA Formula Ford racing. He's done an F4 race. He's going to jump in board, of course, to try to do the USF 2000 program this year with Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. He's battling against one of the best in the Road to Indy and one of the best on the iRacing platform. He goes to the bottom. Let's see the car go to the high side. Max Kaiser, new leader to the bottom. They'll work their way down the back straightaway again. Kaiser almost touches with Eves. Just over a minute remaining, so probably, what are we looking for, 3, maybe 4 laps? New leader, Kaiser to the bottom. But it's a better high side run for Braden Eves. Gets a good run into turn number 2.
Oh, single file now. And there's only 1 minute to go in this race. They should squeeze in another couple of laps here. And let's see if Braden Eves can hang on. As I said, the exclusive Autosport driver messaged me before the race and said, you know, I really hope I go well here. And he's certainly been confident to do so. He's one of the quickest iRacers in sim racing. And now he's got lap traffic to deal with. That's never going to help.
Colin Kaminsky right there on him as well. Daniel Frost trying to find a way by Max Kaiser. But again, here goes Eves to the bottom to get to the inside of Kaminsky. Let's see if he holds the top side. This is going to really play, of course, to Braden Eves. He's got those drivers battling behind. Kaiser's thinking about trying to get the race win, but now maybe more intent to try to hold off Reese Gold and Daniel Frost as well. It's probably the last lap on the racetrack right now. Eves heading into turn 1.
This could end ugly right now. White flag waves. Eves still with the advantage here, and it looks like he might not even look back in his mirrors. Eves from Kaiser, from Frost, going into 3 and 4 for the final time.
Big dive bomb move to the bottom for Frost to try to get by Kaiser. He's going to run the high side of the racetrack. No one's going to have anything, folks. He won the last race of season 1. He's going to start things off with a victory at the start of season 2. Braden Eves, winner in race 1 here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Braden Eves for Exclusive Autosport, scoring the victory. Max Kaiser, what a run for Max, just 16 years of age, showing his worth here on the iRacing program. Daniel Frost able to outgun Reese Gold at the end there. Frost, of course, running in the Indy Lights program this year. Eves in Indy Pro 2000, Max Kaiser in USF 2000. So there you have it, Jonathan. Top 3 drivers, the podium of race number 1. All 3 different levels of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires represented in 1, 2, 3.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Receive fast, free shipping and road hazard protection, a deal, and peace of mind. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
It's me, your Uncle Cooper, and this is a Cooper tire. Great tire. Now, it's not going to cook you a pot roast, but it will stop when you hit the brakes. And these truck tires can stop on average 10 feet shorter than other tires on a wet road. See, the trick is in the grip, and these tires grip like my handshake. Look, I'm your uncle. I love you. I want you to stop when you need to. Doesn't matter if it's for a red light or a duckling. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! And never start something you can't stop.
Back here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, and it's time to look at the final race results for our previous race. And there they are on screen, Rob. The gap between first and second, that's a big gap for oval racing, but we saw almost 4 wide across the line between Kaiser, Frost, Reese Gold, and Mike Myers. Those are the final results there for those drivers from second to fifth, finishing in your top 5. But how about this? Down in the 10th position, Andre Castro.
Well, as you know, we're taking our top 10 from race number 1, inverting them for the start for race 2. So it'll be Andre Castro and Cameron Shields on the front row. He started on the front row for the opening race by qualifying P1. He'll do it again after the issue he had early. A fast repair allowed him to get back out on the racetrack. Impressive all around for Castro so far, but man, another rough one for him. We've seen him upside down more than once.
Yeah, definitely last season as well. Now, Braden Eves will join us for a post-race interview here. Braden, we got you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, man, congratulations. Remember you messaged me before the race telling me to talk you up, and I was like, well, there's no need anymore. You've talked yourself up with that result.
Yeah, it was a really fun race. I'm really glad that we're doing ovals in this season of the eSeries. They're so fun, and that was a great race. It made it a little bit easier on me up front when Phil and Andre got into a little bit of contact, but yeah, it was a really fun race. Good job to Max Kaiser and Reese. I think they ended up second and third. I forget it. It all runs together, but super fun race, and looking forward to this one with the reverse grid.
Braden, you obviously have to have some confidence in the guys driving around you. You know you've raced against Andre Castro. You've raced against Philip Dennis as well. Max Kaiser, a young driver, will be in USF 2000 this year. You guys were 3 wide for a couple of corners there. Jonathan and I were holding our breath. You were running the top side. Were all you maybe thinking about was trying to give those guys enough room on the bottom?
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely had it better up top than they did down low. It definitely gets a little bit loose on the bottom, but you know, I have confidence. Andre has been a long time, extremely good oval driver, especially in iRacing. So I knew he would be, he would always, you know, hold his line and race me clean. But overall, it's just a really fun race. Thanks to everyone.
Quick question to wrap things up. People obviously are watching here. We have the good folks from MAV TV Canada watching. The difference between road racing and oval racing on the iRacing platform. How much different is it for you as a driver?
Oh, it's very different. It's very different. I will say that after having the oval in real life last year at Lucas Oil, a lot of things made sense in iRacing. I used to struggle a lot on the ovals, and it was a huge learning experience last year. But it's super fun. It's something different. There's a lot of new things to learn, and it's just a whole different, totally different game. So I always really enjoy it, and here I got to get on the grid. So
well, go to the grid, man. You're starting on the outside of row 5, P10. Good luck coming through the field.
Thank you so much.
Well, Jonathan, there's the grid there for you right now for race number 2 of the doubleheader here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, the opening round of the Road to Indy TireRack.com eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. Andre Castro on the pole again. Cameron Shields on the outside. This definitely gives a little bit of advantage to Castro, knowing that he has the speed, has the talent to be able to get away.
If you can call a race like this, you're laughing. This is insane right now. Castro, the Legacy Autosport driver, joined on the front row by Aussie Cameron Shields. Shields, no stranger, or no, I should say, sorry, not much experience on the ovals. This is a good chance for him to dabble in the virtual environment before he heads there in the real world.
Well, the interesting thing is he doesn't have a lot of experience, just the one race in the Road to Indy, but he happened to win that race at Lucas Oil Raceway, the Freedom 75, running with Newman Walks Racing. So he knows how to win. He knows how to run the top side. He'll be good when we get to Lucas Oil Raceway. I think starting where he is now could play well for Shields, especially if he teams up quickly with Andre Castro.
And there is our Simmatric Driver Performance Labs pace car. The pole winner award also set for Andre Castro. Double again today. It's like deja vu for the American right there. Down the back end of the order, I see Antoine Comeau, I should say, on the 6th row of the grid. And Comeau joined us late last season. Rob, back again here for season 2.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done, of course, amid the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. Antoine working in the business industry, the investment industry, so had a lot of work to do to solidify his programs. And of course, once things kind of settled down a bit, he had an opportunity to get back behind the wheel of his Turn 3 motorsports car. We'll hope to see him throughout the season this year, outdoor and real world racing in the Indy Pro 2000 class. So great to have Antoine with us again.
So our pole award, as we said, goes to Andre Castro in the Legacy Autosport car. So this will be a quick pace lap yet again here at Gateway. And by the way, that Corvette is screaming off into the distance. We're about to go green yet again. Rob, take a breath, mate. It's okay.
I'm looking forward to it, as always. Andre Castro going to get a second chance to take him to the green flag in that number 77 machine. It's the Aussie Cameron Shields on the outside. Colin Kaminsky there as well. They'll spool up, coming out of turn number 4. We're at it once again. Race 2 here from the doubleheader. Green, green, green. Again, streaming down into turn number 1. Shields immediately to the bottom of the racetrack.
Careful of Colin Kaminsky here, because the two teammates will most doubtly work with each other here. And Castro now back into the second position, going to the inside, heading into 3. It's an egg-shaped oval, don't forget. You can see on the track map on the top right-hand side of the screen the difference between turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A lot of banking as well here at the circuit. A lot of banking difference between the two corners. 11 degrees banking through turn 1 and 2. 9 through the final couple of corners. And back to the lead is Castro.
Even with that extra banking, turn 1 and 2. Don't driver sideways. Contact a couple drivers coming through turn number 1 and 2. We saw the driver sideways perpendicular. We'll get a replay of them coming in here. Wonder which driver that was potentially involved. Big spin. That was Reese Gold, I think. He makes contact as well. So Gold, I believe, the driver who fell down potentially to the tail of the order. Things resetting here again. Early on, drivers up front running well. Here's the replay again. Coming into turn number 1 and 2. A little contact. That might have been Eves potentially into the back of Reese Gold going into 1.
Definitely looked like an exclusive Autosport car, and we can confirm it was Braden Eves there down in the back of the pack near the bottom end of the top 10. The top 10 inverted for race number 2 here. It's the same distance. same strategy involved too. We're not expecting any scheduled stops, but the bonus, Rob, is that these drivers are allowed fast repairs, which means any chaotic accident like that, and they'll be able to head back straight onto the racetrack with a repaired vehicle.
Interesting to see that incident, of course, early on when the drivers are on cold tires coming into turn number 1. Gold likely potentially got off the throttle a little bit earlier than maybe Eves would have, and there was contact coming into the corner. Interestingly, those drivers were both teammates last year at Cape Motorsports in the USF 2000 program. Reese of Cole, of course, just 14 years of age when he started in USF 2000 last year. He'll be 15 when we get rolling back at it again. And again, lucky for him, he had a couple of veteran drivers with him last year into the Cape Camp. He'll be one of the lead drivers this year in that program as well. But this battle up front continuing as, I'll tell you, Cameron Shields, Jonathan, not content to settle in at all. Let's put it that way. He's gone the high side, he's gone the low side, trying to chop in front of Kaminsky at one point, being pretty aggressive out there.
Well, like we said, compared to a usual IndyCar race, there's no time to settle in the first 20 minutes here because that's the distance of this race. As we watch a replay here on board, we saw an issue. I'm not quite sure what I saw there, but here's Colin Kaminsky down to the up to the third position. Cameron Shields, though, back to the lead here as he works with teammate Castro. Let me tell you something. These two are on team speak, and they are talking to each other during this race. They're handling the race quite well, and this is we're got a huge wreck down the back.
Back straightaway, you're right, big contact. Matias Ramirez, one of the drivers involved, Jonathan. He's battling, I believe, that could be with Philippe Dennis. No, that was the 27 involved in that. That's Robert McGuinness. So McGuinness and Ramirez coming out of turn 2 on the back straightaway. That was major contact, but both drivers not wanting to give up an inch at all on the exit of the corner.
And the caution's out now after that incident. So we've only had 3 minutes of green flag action, and race controls decided to let everybody settle down after that. We're going to have a single file restart after this one. But boy, what a start to that race, though. And it looks like at the moment, Kaminsky, as far as I can see, is in the lead. So unless something's happened off camera, he's passed the two teammates into the first position. And that's good stuff by Kaminsky.
Good start for the driver from Chicago, Illinois for Pabst Racing, Colin Kaminsky. Again, had some issues in that early event, settling back in so he can get to work here. We saw both Legacy Autosport drivers working together, as you said, Cameron Shields and Andre Castro as well. Looks like we're joined by Yuven Sundaramurthy, though, Jonathan. We got a quick little break. We'll go trackside. Yuven, currently running in the 13th spot. What was your thoughts of those first couple of laps?
Hi, first couple laps were just trying to stay safe there. Had the second place in qualifying, so I was really looking to capitalize in the first race. Didn't end up going my way. Got into a spin and then got driven down to the inside, but happy with my 13th spot. Gonna look to move forward.
Jonathan, thoughts on the run so far for Yuven?
I got to ask Yuven, you're down in 13th. You're in a good place to avoid the wrecks, but some drivers say it's also the worst place to avoid the wrecks because you're right in the midst of all the action.
Yeah, I don't like that front row, especially because the draft is so big. You're just going to get swamped right there on the start. But you know what? I made the most of it. The spin was my fault for the first one, so just looking not to do the same thing here.
And last thing, just quickly, how's the liftoff oversteer? Difficult to manage?
Yeah, that's what caused my spin. Just really working on getting that in shape.
All right, we'll leave you to it. So Yuven, good luck for the rest of the race. And just remember, you got 12 spots, man, back to first place. It's possible, man. So good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
So we'll drag him back down, Rob. But good race so far from Yuven. But, man, you know what? This race so far, it's been chaotic to watch. It's been fun to watch. And we've still got 15 minutes of action left here. And it's great to see Symmetric Labs getting involved with the pace car too.
Yeah, we're excited to have them trackside for all the races this year. They actually bring the full CXC simulator in the trailer to all the tracks, so drivers are able to get more track time. Remember, Road to Indy drivers only get 5 sessions on a race weekend, on an IndyCar weekend. We're there for a practice session, qualifying, the 2 qualifyings and the 2 races. That is it. And then we're packing up and heading to the next one. So the opportunity for them to get behind the wheel and do a little more racing with Symmetric trackside, I think, is absolutely huge. We'll see what happens here with Colin Kaminsky, but I was liking with the fact that we heard from Yuven Sundaramurthy honest with us, because I know he said he made that mistake in turn 1, lost the rear of the car. And Jonathan, from the very start of the broadcasts of our first season, you talked about the fact intrinsic in this Pro Mazda is the simple fact that you have that throttle off oversteer, and a lot of drivers have been struggling with that, especially in turn 1.
Yeah, definitely. I spoke to Julian Dunn, who sim racers would know of, and he's one of the best to do it in this Pro Mazda. And he's an Australian, by the way. Just I'd let you know, Rob, for a second. But the lights are out on the lights are still on the pace car, so we're going to go one more time this time by. But single file start here. You look at the two teammates of Shields and Castro behind. What do you reckon they'll do here into one?
Well, it was interesting because we saw them run top side, bottom side, kind of flip back and forth. You said that they're already on the radio with each other on TeamSpeak, so you know that they're going to see if they can't tag team up on Colin Kaminsky. They'll, of course, bounce off of Colin. If he stays to the bottom of the racetrack, I expect that both of them will go to the top side. Vice versa, if he tries to run around the top, I think you'll see Kaminsky, or you'll see Cameron Shields go to the bottom instead. And once one of those drivers gets through, I got to see that Kaminsky probably gets freight trained. He's going to need some help from Daniel Frost or Braden Eves, somebody else who's not a legacy driver behind him. That's what he's going to need for sure.
Well, we've got a lot of colors on the graphics too that you'll be able to differentiate the different drivers with, and we'll give you a rundown of that there at the top of the screen. That's whether they're a team owner or what series they run in, but we're about to go back to green flag action here from Gateway.
Out of turn number 4, pretty solid jump. Kaminsky right down to the bottom of the racetrack trying to break the draft. He'll go back up to the top very quickly as the cross start finish and see how he tucks into turn number 1. Again, we said the 11-degree banking right down to the bottom. He's going to keep it down by the rumbles to try to see if he can't get that run off the corner. Everybody's slotting in nicely so far. Castro having to look to the inside of Shields into turn number 3.
And Eves is ready to loom there in the 4th position. He's going to bring along Daniel Frost with him. Our race 1 winner, Braden Eves, looking good to pounce on the 3 ahead.
Yeah, I think we know that Braden Eves obviously comfortable with what he did earlier in the day. We got a new leader now as Shields has gone to the inside. Watch for Braden Eves actually to the inside of Castro. Eves on the move. The point I was going to make was the fact you got a guy that's already won 2 races. The final race of the first series, and he won earlier today already. The contrast then is Daniel Frost. He's had a couple of good runs, just hasn't been able to capitalize. He's running here in the top 5. You wonder whether or not he'll show the patience he needs, Jonathan, to be there when we're all said and done.
Oh, how about this? Legacy Autosport leading this race. We almost saw 4 wide. We're seeing 2 by 3 for the lead. Eves will fall down to 5th. Kaminsky to 3rd, and Cameron Shields dicing with his Legacy Autosport teammate of Castro for P1.
This is great stuff. Josh Green in the number 2, just a little bit further back watching. Max Kaiser's been able to get himself back up here as well after starting on the inside of road number 5. Again, 10th place was the start for the winner, Braden Eves. He's now down to the bottom. Look at this action here as they work their way into turn number 1. Josh Green trying to make it 3 wide as well. He'll tuck up under the gearbox, Kaminsky, but checks up a bit going into 1. 2 by 2 coming through turn 1 and 2. Shields and Frost. Daniel Frost trying to go to the bottom, but Shields holding on the exit of turn 2.
Fellas, there's 10 minutes to go. They all want track position. These are your top 11 cars out there on the racetrack in this lead group right now. There are, I can officially confirm, 15 cars still remaining on the lead lap. So a few have dropped off in the back of the train. And there's almost nowhere to go for some of the drivers behind in the traffic. You know, this reminds me of, and I don't mean to bring it up, Rob, but back in Las Vegas in 2011, it was a very chaotic race in IndyCar, and it was a very sad day in the world of IndyCar. But luckily in the virtual world, it's a little safer in a sense, as Eves goes to the lead for the first time.
Yeah, indeed, that was not a good weekend for motorsports here in America, of course. But these young drivers here, like you said, protected by the let's say the safety of the iRacing program. Getting a good chance to go wheel to wheel here, though. I'll tell you one thing, Jonathan, as Shields still leads, Castro to the bottom, very top side is Braden Eves. They talked about potentially bringing ovals, and I was actually begging to do a couple of ovals, and people were worried, like, it's going to be an absolute disaster. It's going to be this chaotic show. Drivers are going to be wrecking each other. I like what I'm seeing right now. They're giving each other some room. So far, even the first race was great. This one has been absolutely amazing. How many guys we have in the top group right now? Top 10 likely running together here. Amazing. Top 11 running within about a second and a half.
Wow. What a shot through 1 and 2. And 2 wide down the back of the back, too.
Jonathan, this is absolutely incredible. Fields continues to hold the top spot. Everybody else trying the bottom. Ooh, almost into the wall. A little bit of a kink there. I saw that in an earlier race I called about 2 weeks ago. One of the IndyCar drivers tapped the wheel there. Even though there's room on the exit, you have to bring it back across before you get to that little bit on the back straightaway. Almost caught out a couple of drivers. Side by side again. Daniel Frost looking for the bid for the lead. He'll go to the bottom. And he's going to bring Eves down there with him. 3 wide further back.
I talked about this, what a story it would be if the Andretti Autosport driver of Frost could indeed win this event. He's got a couple of hungry legacy Autosport drivers behind. Braden Eves, our Race 1 winner for Exclusive Autosports right there. And look who's back in the fray for the lead. Our Series 1 champion of Phil Dennis to third.
This is thrilling so far. 4 wide down the front straightaway for about 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. They'll work their way through turn 1 and 2 again. 3 wide he ends up. The meat and the sandwich is the number 1 of Braden Eves. Trying to figure out where to go. He'll tuck under the gearbox of Dennis. Then he goes to driver's left, goes to the bottom. They'll go 3 wide again coming into turn number 3. Eves on the bottom. It'll be Dennis in the middle and then Kaiser to the top. No, that's actually the 68 of Frost to the top as we're continuing to battle out. Back down to the bottom goes Eves. Way down to the bottom for something. There's trouble for Cameron Shields. Yellow flag. Is that yellow?
Well, no official yellow at the moment, so we'll wait and see.
Issue. Cameron Shields slowed coming out of turn number 4 and slowed coming down the straightaway. They're still 3-4 wide. Not sure what it was there. Still a long way to go to the end of this one. 7 more minutes remaining, but the action midway through, Jonathan, absolutely hectic.
So Shields, we're just trying to confirm what's happened to him. It looks like he's out of the race. He's definitely out of the lead lap. And the racing is going to continue because there's no yellow. Castro to the lead from Dennis, from Eves, from Josh Green down in the 4th position. Daniel Frost back down to 5th. You got to time this, Rob, as to when you're near the front right now, because Frost from 1st to 5th was not a good sign. We want to see whether or not the bottom works around here. I'm not sure if the top's working that well.
And this is what's interesting right now. I had a chance to talk on an Instagram live interview today to Kyle Kirkwood, talking about running the Freedom 100 for the first time. And he's watched so much tape on it. And it's all about strategy. You're flat out all the way around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for that Freedom event on Carb Day. You're right. It's where do you need to be? Because you know you're going to be cycling forward. You're not always going to be in the front. You may slot back to 3rd, 4th. Top side, bottom side. It's all about being at the right place in that last 5 minutes. You got to put the hammer down. You got to work your way forward. Every one of these drivers trying to figure it out. Eves back to the lead once again in the number 1. But here comes Castro, aggressive to the bottom. Philip Dennis to the top. 3 wide again into turn number 1.
And how are they going to come out of 2 here? Eves to the lead. Dennis to the bottom. Is he going to take the lead? Don't tell me.
Like shuffling a deck here in this Road to Indy TireRack.com eSeries, is it not? One time the driver's at the top, one time he's on the bottom. This time it's Castro back to the bottom. Dennis has the lead to the top. Look at the driver at the bottom of the 2nd row. That's the number 2 of Josh Green, driver at a New York, rookie in USF 2000 last year, part of the Team USA scholarship, ran the Formula Ford Festival. He also ran the Walter Hayes Trophy. He's got it in the mix as well. He's P4. Eves back to the bottom again. Braden Eves, aggressive slice to the inside of the racetrack.
Well, what I've learned so far is that come the final lap in 5 minutes time, you want that bottom going into 3 and 4. But how about the RP Motorsport USA driver here of Dennis in a drag race to the line? There we got a bit of a display of what we may see on the final lap of this race here. A switchback coming out of 4, but it wasn't enough of a run for Dennis there.
This is absolutely entertaining. Watching these drivers 2 wide, 3 wide, drivers in USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, Indy Lights, all fighting wheel to wheel, trying to figure it out right now. We know Braden Eves has got a great handle on this racetrack. Already scored a victory to get things underway. He leads once again, but Daniel Frost was in the hunt. We know that Philippe Dennis was before his incident down in turn number 1 as well. I don't know who. Oh, driver spinning further back. We have a driver around, I believe, further back. Going into 1. Indeed, big wreck. 3 drivers involved. Everybody else trying to slide through. Jonathan, that was a big one going into 1.
That could have been, I'm not sure if the Brazilian Lucas Cole was involved, but Leandro Juncos certainly involved. Oh, and that was inevitable there. nowhere to go for some of them down the back of the pack. I'm surprised the accidents didn't continue too, but the racing's going to have to continue because we're on limited time here. So they're just going to press a little button there. It'll send them back to the pit lane, and they'll get a repair.
Yeah, fast repair and fast cleanup. We'll do the fast cleanup, get them off the racetrack. We'll keep it clean and green. About 3.5 minutes remaining in this second end of the doubleheader here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Tremendous action here on Apex Racing TV. Braden Eves, Jonathan, has held the bottom of the racetrack. He hasn't moved around as much as he had earlier. Goes to the middle of the track right now. He knows everybody around him kind of posturing to figure out where they need to be. This is the strategy time right now. It'll be 3 to go when they get back around to the front straightaway. 3 minutes remaining.
Saw a driver with some damage down the back of the pack. Is that Robert Magenis in 13th with a bent front wing?
They are closing up in a slower car a little bit in front of them. Hopefully he'll keep the bottom. Well, there's more contact. Two drivers together.
That's Daniel Frost and Hunter McElray involved in the same accident, Rob. Let's have a look.
Let's watch it as it happens here. Daniel Frost. Looks like they both wrecked separately. I think there's going to be more contact from behind on McElray. It looked like potentially just a minor error for Daniel Frost. So what do you think about pretty good overview, you think, on that, Jonathan?
Tough angle to see it. It looked like two separate incidents, but I didn't see what happened down the bottom that could have caused that. But hey, Rob, the racing's going to continue here. It's Dennis from Kaiser from Eves now. Can Eves make it 2 wins from 2 and the championship lead to begin round number 1? 3 wide for the lead, heading into 1.
It's Eves again to the bottom. Right in the middle is Philippe Dennis, and that young driver, the upstart Max Kaiser, back into it again in the 41. I love seeing them all getting challenged with a different discipline. We did 5 road courses in the first series. Now we're getting at it here right now on the oval. We're going to do 3 ovals as part of season number 2. I'm excited about Lucas Oil Raceway. It'll be much different than the race here at Gateway, as will Iowa Speedway. 3 very different racetracks for these drivers. We're down to about 1.5 minutes remaining. The battle up front. It's Kaiser to the bottom. Car drifts up a little bit. That's going to give the opportunity for Eves to go back down to the bottom. Almost contact there. Kaiser in the middle. Dennis to the top side. Here comes Eves back to the bottom.
Have a look at this now. Tactics coming into play here to end the race. Castro didn't get what he deserved after scoring pole position earlier on in this race. And here they come through turn number 1 yet another time. We're going to have a few laps to go. Down to the bottom. Oh, don't tell me it's going to work for Max Kaiser. It possibly is. Now, this is an evolving track around iRacing, so the lines are going to develop throughout the race. Whether the bottom or the top works. Seems there was a lot of grip there for Dennis through the middle, and Castro is going to try the bottom heading into 3 and 4.
I thought we'd see Braden Eves stay on the top side, but I think he wants to try to get by Philippe Dennis first. He'll go down to the bottom. As you said, driver out in front of them. We're into about 30 seconds remaining. I think we may get back around to get 2 more laps. Braden Eves goes back to the inside of Castro. He goes back to the lead once again. Castro trying the over-under, and he gets it. Side by side coming down the back chute. They'll probably get the white flag this time by. Eves to the top side. Castro trying to get that elusive first win on the bottom.
So I think you're spot on, Rob. This should be the white flag this time round, although it's going to be awfully close. Eves trying to make the outside work. I think they almost touched wheels there. And don't tell me Dennis is going to search for the bottom. The RP Motorsport USA driver receives the white flag. He'll head to P number 1 here to begin the final lap of the race. And Eves now going for the switchback. He's going to snatch the lead heading into 3 and 4.
Michael D'Orlando right in front of them, going to give them a little bit of a draft. And again, down to the bottom. Eves is going to make the block move to try to hold the number 77 at bay. Up to the top side is D'Orlando. He's going to hold him off a little bit. They'll go side by side, almost contact him out of the final corner. Drag race to the line. Who's going to win round number 2? I think it's Philippe Dennis. Jonathan, what a tremendous finish. They had to dodge and bob and weave that car on the top side of the racetrack of Michael D'Orlando. What an amazing finish. Philippe Dennis with the victory by 0.02 of a second.
Michael D'Orlando, the lapped car, helped that go 4 wide over the finish line. What a finish. Phil Dennis, our champion from last season, will win. Eves and Kaiser end up 2nd and 3rd, and Castro in 4th. We'll look at the results after this.
You're shopping for tires online and you have questions.
I do.
We're TireRack.com and we have answers and tools to help.
Like our tire decision guide. It's real easy to use.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Back here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, we've got a winner to crown Rob Howden, and that will be Philippe Dennis. You can see the final race results on screen. The final margin, 2/100ths of a second, and you're stood alongside him, our Series 1 champion.
Philippe, congratulations coming back after issues in race number 1. But man, those last 5 laps, Jonathan and I were holding our breath. I'm sure you may have been doing the same thing. We didn't know where anybody was going to be. You had lap car getting in the way. Can you walk us through that last lap and your thought process?
Let me tell you, Rob, there is no thought process. I was just going for the kill, and it worked out in the end. There was a little gap that I had to thread coming out of the last corner. I had to do it to win, and I knew it, and I went for it, and it worked. I pulled the Kyle Kirkwood there. I had to start 20. Where did I start? 24th, and I kept my nose clean. Man, I'm still shaking. That was so stressful, but I was just keeping it clean. There was a lot of wrecks in front of me, just a lot of things that I should not have seen, but saw coming through there, and I'm just so happy to come out on top. I'm a little shaken up. That was just such an insane finish.
Well, we're watching the replay right now of you. You were right up alongside Michael D'Orlando, the top part of the racetrack. You were able to make the dive down to the inside and hold that spot. You drag raced Braden Eves to the line. What a tremendous run. You can hear the emotion in your voice. It just seemed, even for us calling it, it was just 20 minutes of actual mayhem, and you were just having to react every corner.
Yeah, I don't have that much experience around ovals, and I was really surprised when I had decent pace, and I think I figured a little something out with momentum in that race that some other people didn't have, and it helped me pass as many people as I could.
Well, congratulations on a tremendous run for you. Excellent driveway to get back to the top of the box after the issue you had in race number 1. Looking forward to the next one for sure, but congrats on a tremendous run.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to thank RP Motorsport and everyone that's supporting me.
So we've got to say goodbye to our MAV TV Canadian audience. Hope you enjoyed all the coverage. You can join us for more post-race coverage on our associated social channels, on our Facebook streams, or on the YouTube pages, and we'll see you after this.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
Receive fast, free shipping and road hazard protection, a deal, and peace of mind. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
It's me, your Uncle Cooper, and this is a Cooper tire. Great tire. Now, it's not going to cook you a pot roast, but it will stop when you hit the brakes. And these truck tires can stop on average 10 feet shorter than other tires on a wet road. See, the trick is in the grip, and these tires grip like my handshake. Look, I'm your uncle. I love you. I want you to stop when you need to. Doesn't matter if it's for a red light or a duckling. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! And never start something you can't stop.
Well, we talked about the fact that in the second series of Road to Indy eSeries Racing, we wanted to have some ovals. Well, they did not disappoint at all. A tremendous battle throughout the first race and the second race. Let's wrap things up here now with Philippe Dennis. Philippe, in the little break there, you talked about the fact that we want to see some in-car because you said you had guys flipping in front of you as well. It seems like you coming from the tail of the field probably had the best seat in the house.
It was a very intense race for sure. I just want to take a moment to thank my sponsors, Fireflighters. I like to thank RP Motorsport, my family, my girlfriend, everyone for supporting me. And I'm just really happy to get this win.
Let's talk about the other races coming up as well. Of course, the next event on the program, we're going to Laguna Seca, your favorite track, which is great to come out of here. But we're running Lucas Oil Raceway as well, the 5/8 mile oval. We're also going to run Iowa Speedway, which is a much larger track, 7/8 of a mile. You've been through one oval right now here in the iRacing program with all your fellow Road to Indy drivers. What are your thoughts on those next two?
Well, I'm very excited to go to my home track. I have a lot of experience there. I think it's going to be a great race. The field's going to be tougher than ever. I'm more than ready to fight for a second championship. I'm really excited about these oval editions. It adds a lot of action, and it's going to be a great mixture.
Well, we'll wrap up with saying this right now. Obviously, you were able to show what you can do on the road courses in the first series we have with the Road to Indy eSeries program. You've obviously come back now and won on an oval as well, and that's always great for a driver to be able to show that you have the diversity to be able to be fast on both kinds of racetracks. So the bottom line is congratulations, well done. And again, as you said, next Wednesday, we're heading to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, your home track. The odds for you to win will probably be pretty good, I think.
Well, we'll see. You never know. Everyone's strong. Braden was really strong here, like always. Andre was really strong. It's gonna be fun. Very tough.
All right, well done. Congratulations again. Thanks for joining us up here in the booth. Well done. Jonathan, I'm telling you, this kid has shown everything he's got. It's been great opportunity for him to put his name back out front as a guy that doesn't have a lot of budget to go racing, trying to put the money together to run in 2020 with RP Motorsports Racing, but he definitely showed what he had here on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to bring you more coverage of our Rick Motec post-race show because we're going to be stood alongside the drivers who finished second and third in this race, and they were only separated by a matter of inches, Rob. It's time to speak to Braden Eves, who, if I'm not mistaken, will unofficially confirm him as our series championship leader coming out of round one.
Braden, your thoughts on this particular run? It was wild. There was 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, top 11, top 12 drivers in a pack for a majority of that race. We kept the yellows in when there was incidents, but can you walk us through that 20-minute sprint? Because it was exciting for sure.
Yeah, started 10th, obviously, because of the inverted grid, which was really fun. It was a little bit dicey in the beginning. There was definitely some times in that race where we were 3-4 wide and just really close to crashing. But, everyone did a great job keeping it clean. Actually, early on, Reese Gold checked up, and I barely got into him. I don't think I had any damage, but, yeah, it was unfortunate right there, but really fun race, just barely lost out. It's disappointing, but really can't complain about a 1-2 finish in the first race, especially considering Phil had that one DNF, so that's going to really hurt him with points. But yeah, I'm really happy about the whole day and how everything went.
Phil obviously had to come from the very tail of the field. Braden said he was kind of white knuckling it and was kind of trying to catch his breath when we brought him into the commentary booth. Did you feel the same way, or was it more of a kind of a, I don't want to say relaxed because you guys were in the middle of a dogfight, but was it more relaxed for you up front?
Yeah, I think it's more relaxed. I mean, I'm trying to have more fun. I think the first season, I almost tried too hard. I mean, not necessarily tried too hard, but I'm just trying to focus on having more fun and just enjoying it a little bit more. And it's been a blast so far. So I'm really looking forward to the next round, and especially the ovals. They're really fun. Yeah, I can't say much more.
Well, congrats on the great run. As I said, well done. P2, P1. You're going to be the championship leader coming out of the weekend, which is good. We go to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca next week, and I'm sure you'll be solid there. You capped off the season with a big victory that gave you the USF 2000 championship there last September. Again, congratulations, and I'm glad you're having a good time, a little bit more fun, because that's kind of what this is all about as well.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Jonathan, a tremendous young driver, Braden Eves, again, winning that championship at USF 2000, trying to follow in the footsteps of an Oliver Askew, of a Kyle Kirkwood. There's a young guy that's coming up the ranks and definitely one to watch on his way to the NTT IndyCar Series. So let's jump with the driver we have that ends up coming home P3, Max Kaiser. Congratulations. You and I did an Instagram IG Q&A interview just last week. And man, you come out of the gate and have a tremendous weekend. What is it about the ovals that works so well for you? Well done. Max, you with us? Well, I guess we don't have Max here right now. I couldn't get a hold of Max.
Oh, Max isn't there. Goodness me. Okay, so
we had him, but we dropped him right at the last minute there, Jonathan. So we've lost Max. Hopefully we can see if we can't potentially get him back. But a tremendous run for him. He was good in the opening season, I thought. Had some bad luck, but just all in all, a good overall night here at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
You know, I would love to speak to Andre Castro, but I don't think he was pleased by finishing fourth, to be honest with you. As soon as the race finished, he disconnected from the server.
Well,
so
then. All right.
For Andre, I think that shows, you know, one of the race car drivers was telling me in Supercars yesterday, yes, it's not the real thing and everything, but when you jump in and yeah, the pressure's not there as much as it is in the real world, but the competitiveness is still the same. You still want to win as much as you do in the real world. So for any driver being displeased with finishing fourth, it's no surprise at the end of the day, to be honest with you. And how about Colin Kaminsky too in fifth? You know, Legacy Autosport, I don't think got what they deserved in that final race.
Indeed, I'd love to find out what happened to Cameron Shields as well. Was leading and was looking good, pulled to the inside of the racetrack coming out of turn 4 and essentially just left the race. So we're not sure what happened to Cameron Shields. Maybe it was something back home with the car itself and the iRacing rig itself. But, you know, Jonathan, in seeing some of the fallout, or at least the follow-up from the final IndyCar Challenge event at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where there was a couple issues, a couple drivers crashing into each other in the last couple of laps, it has come to kind of, you know, the spotlight that some drivers taking it more seriously than other drivers. A lot of race car drivers, though, it doesn't matter what it is, you're racing and you're competitive, especially the guys that do a lot of iRacing. This is what they do. They're still taking it very, very seriously. Even Braden Eves, who said he wants to have a little more fun, you know the underlying theme there is that he still wants to win races. He wants to have more fun doing it, but he still wants to win races. And that really comes down to what this is all about. We're trying to give these drivers an opportunity to have some fun. We've got some entertainment for our Road to Indy fans at the same time. But still, these guys want to go out and win races because it's an opportunity to show what you can do.
Well, let's speak to Max Kaiser now, Rob. You're going to be stood alongside him, and I want to know what the competitive outlet is from these guys. It's such a great race we saw today at Gateway.
Max, I'll start by making sure I got a copy. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you now.
There you go. I set the whole thing up and you weren't there, and it was disappointing. I'd said there that you and I did an Instagram IG Live Q&A interview just this past week. And, you know, you and I talked about this and how you were really enjoying getting into the iRacing program. You had a strong opening season in the iRacing eSeries. You showed, you know, some good speed, but you had some bad luck. No bad luck here today. Just a really solid run. Both events you were up front mixing it up with the big dogs. Can you talk us through a little bit about running the oval? Is it something you're liking or what?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I mean, I think it made it really easy to stay out of the mess by qualifying up front in that first race, because there was a lot more chaos, I think, in that first race.
Indeed, but you were running the top side, you were running the bottom side. Have you done much oval racing on iRacing to prepare yourself for this?
Not a whole lot. I just learned everything I could in the practice races to get ready for this one.
We talked to Philippe Dennis. Of course, he won the first championship, and we know that he does a lot of iRacing as well. But he said that he was kind of mentally spent because there was just so much focus of him coming from the tail of the field in that particular race after the wreck he had. How did you feel it was in terms of keeping your focus for the entire 20 minutes?
I mean, it was definitely tough with all the dicing around because there was parts where you could tell that something might go wrong, so you just had to play it safe and try and avoid wrecks.
Well, I'll tell you, just a tremendous run. Do you want to take an opportunity to thank a couple of your sponsors here now?
Yeah, I just want to thank Brico because it's incredible to have them on board, as well as NSDD, as well as, and I also want to thank the team, Miller Vinatieri Motorsports, for being incredible.
Well, Max, listen, I'll tell you one thing. We got 2 more ovals on this particular schedule, season 2 of this Road to Indy TireRack.com eSeries here on iRacing. And I think that you've already shown your ability here. You had a tremendous run. You stayed out of trouble when others kind of were losing their heads a little bit. Congratulations. I can't wait to see you when we get actually out on the oval running Lucas Oil Raceway in USF 2000. Congratulations on a tremendous day today.
Thank you, Rob.
Jonathan, I'll tell you, a young driver to watch for sure. He'll be a rookie this year with Miller Vinatieri Motorsports, but did not drive like a rookie at all today here at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Brilliant drive from Max, and it was a brilliant drive by Andre Castro to make amends for a very difficult race to manage. Andre, we got you.
Yeah, I'm right here.
I want to ask as well, you know, that was pretty much. I'm not sure if it was about luck, but there was certainly some tactics involved. Phil Dennis was telling me how he just made the high line work through turn 1 and 2, and that put him in a good position come 3 and 4. But for yourself, you were leading most of the race, and I don't think you and your Legacy Autosport teammate of Kaminsky got what you deserve at the end of that one.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it was a fun race to battle with those guys really close and not end up in tears. The second race, the first race, obviously got taken out. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like Talladega. There's certain things that you can do to give yourself a better chance of winning. But in the end, it's almost like a lottery. So you have to basically just put yourself in the best position you can and then see how it all stacks up. But yeah, the high line in 1 and 2 is definitely the preferred lane. And then when it got dark, the bottom came in a little bit more, but the outside was still better through 1 and 2. And then yeah, just at the end, I think a lap car came out and gave the guys drafts, so I couldn't get the slingshot to draft by them. But yeah, it was fun. Just hoping one of these weeks I don't get taken out. That'd be nice because it's getting old to be taken out every single week.
Well, I saw you, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning it, but as soon as you crossed the line and the race finished, I swear to God, you'd left the server as quickly as possible. And that was a trick I used to use back in World Championship Sim Racing is I knew the broadcast would catch me coming across the finish line. Now, I race on the roadside, and when they showed me, I would literally cross the finish line, park, and exit the server so quickly, the camera would change to like an ambient shot of the entire racetrack. That's how fast I exited. I think you exited quicker than I used to do.
That's true. I was on it. I was on that Alt F4 right there. That was a massive rage quit. Nah, but at least I crossed the line first, because if I did it 200 feet before, it probably would have been would not have been good. It would have affected the result. But yeah, I just wanted to get out of there because it's frustrating just leading all those laps and then having really nothing to show for it just because a couple of things don't go your way. But I think it should be fun because I think the next 2 ovals we have IRP and Lucas Oil Raceway and Iowa should be a little bit less of a draft fest, so it should be a little bit more about how well you can drive the track. But either way, I know that I'm in good hands racing with Braden and Max and Phil. Those guys made it fun today, so it was cool.
Yeah, you got the guys you're racing around. Andre and Braden said the same thing running with you, that he's comfortable running side by side. I know there was just a little bit of contact that took you out of race 1. So minor that, you just kind of got caught out a little bit by it. And I understand that I understand the rage quit, but I do appreciate you taking a deep breath and joining us here at the commentary booth. You've obviously calmed down a little bit, and you're right. The next 2 races that we do have on the oval at Lucas Oil Raceway and Iowa Speedway won't quite be the big draft fest, but it's still, though, strategy will come to play, but more probably outright speed, especially when it comes to Lucas Oil Raceway. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Especially Lucas Oil Raceway, it's not going to be huge straightaways like this, and you can actually benefit from getting the pole and kind of stay out front. But that being said, I haven't really run there yet, so I might be wrong. But yeah, the half-mile track I think is going to lend itself more to more like the road courses where it's less of a lottery and you can kind of control your destiny more. But yeah, I think it went better than I expected today, just because I expected a lot of yellows and a lot of crashing. But I think the drivers behaved themselves for the most part, and we got through Gateway collectively as a series, I think, pretty well. So I think that's really good.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get to the finish of the second race. I think you showed what you had running up front for so long. Just didn't quite get the podium finish or the win you may have wanted. But again, congratulations on a great run here today. Good to have you here at this event.
Yeah, thanks so much, Rob. Looking forward to next week.
Always fun to watch Andre Castro get out here on the virtual world in iRacing. Hopefully we'll see him on the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires in an actual Legacy Autosport car this year. I know he's working hard to put the budget together. Jonathan, let's wrap things up and talk about the next round of the program. Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we head to one of the most iconic racetracks in North American motorsports, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. With the Corkscrew, we capped off the season of the Road to Indy there last year. That was the plan for this year before the entire pandemic hit. We're planning now to do it at St. Petersburg sometime in late October, but these drivers are going to get a chance to race on that tremendous track next Wednesday.
Yeah, very famous circuit over in California too. And I've been told that in the winter months, Rob, that the circuit can be quite green as we watch the Gateway Arch there in the background here in St. Louis over the Mississippi River. The virtual Gateway Arch, Rob, it's actually the tallest structure at St. Louis. Brilliant to see that actually simulated virtually. But can't wait for Laguna Seca next week as we leave Gateway. And it's going to be a thrilling track. It's going to be a thrilling race as usual. We're going to have 2 20-minute races. But it's going to be a little different to last season. It's going to be the road course this time round. We head back to the oval for round 3 at Lucas Oil, Watkins Glen, and then Iowa to round out this 5-round campaign of this, the Tire Rack Road to Indy iRacing eSeries. It's presented by our associated partners. Let's not forget to mention this is the simulator called iRacing. You can get involved in iRacing.com. The series presented by Cooper Tires and Tire Rack. We've got a pole winner award handed out by Simmetric Driver Performance Labs. And let's not forget our fastest lap of the race award by TSOladder.com. But what an event this was. And from myself, Jonathan Simon, Rob Howden behind the scenes, the voice of Road to Indy. Thanks, of course, to the entire Apex Racing TV production crew that work ever so hard behind the scenes. We will say so long from Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. And we'll see you in a week's time in California.
Can I? Use our tire decision guide to pick the right tires for you? Yes.